Welcome to Alt Perspective. My name is Tim, and I am joined, as always, by the pastoral presence.
Oh, my
mom, aka Christy Russell, aka the goat of all moms.
Oh my goodness. Gotta live up to that.
Everybody's mama.
Everybody's
That'll
mom.
take.
Mama for all. And we are joined for the first time by Isaac. You may have caught him on our premiere episode of The Adam Perspective last week, but we thought we'd kind of do a formal introductory kind of episode to him, to the team, for Alt Productions. So that's what we're doing this week. Just kind of vision casting and letting you guys know what's coming in the future for Alt Productions. Got a lot of things working in the background, a lot of things that are not like officially announced yet, or at least one thing that's not officially announced yet. And then we're partnering with Mom's Project 714. So we got a lot going on that we just kind of want to let everybody know about and kind of just discuss and let you guys all know what our vision is for Alt Productions in the future going forward, and all the things that God has put on our heart to work on, and our outreach program through Project 714, the other pod that's coming in the future, all this stuff, and even down to like the brick and mortars that we're going to get going and all this stuff. So we got a lot to talk about. We can take it in really any direction. But Isaac, how about you introduce yourself to the alt audience, since they are not accustomed to you?
They're not pretty. And listen, we're like together.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like this bordered box. Like we're together.
We're together.
And this is great. This is exciting. My name is Isaac Hudon. My wife and I, Natasha, we own a restaurant. We do some real estate stuff. We have, honestly, we like to keep ourselves busy, to say the least. But first and foremost in my mind is ministry and serving Christ. So when God struck a fire inside of me that we were going to be working together, it was he told me to wait. And if anybody knows me, I'm not the waiting type. I'm like, let's go, both feet, 10 toes down, let's go. But he told me to wait, and then Christy reached out, and I was like, okay, now's the time to go. We were in between our a vacation this November, and we got to meet, we talked, we cried, and from there, this beautiful, I would say this beautiful team came together, this family, this community came together, that honestly, it's been only ordained by God. Because we could sit here and plan for a lifetime, but you can't train culture.
That's right.
And culturally, we fit in such a beautiful way, like we're actually united in the body of Christ. And I think that's the importance. And I don't want to do so much vision casting from my end as we intro here, but when we come together, man, it's just magic. It just feels like we've known each other for a lifetime. Yeah. That we're in these places where we're learning and growing together. We're nurturing, loving. I mean, it's just been probably one of the best groups of relationships that I've ever seen in my life. And if you know me in regular life, you know that I call myself a human coder. I look at people and I figure out what makes them tick, their ones and zeros, and you just can't plan for this kind of synergy. Yeah. You can't plan for this kind of synergy. And you know that God is at the forefront of it. And I hope that everything that we're doing brings us to this place. So again, this is just exciting. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I think that, it's like you said, after we got together and we all started talking and praying together and working on this thing, because we all felt like there was something here, it became really obvious to all of us really quick that that all of our visions that God has given all of us in the background in our individual lives over time were meant to work together and gel together in a really specific way. And I've said it to you and Mom before, where, growing up, I've always had this passion for movies, production, gaming, music, all this, basically any type of media you can think of. I always geek out about it, nerd out about it. And I've always had this drive to want to produce that stuff, but make it all work together. Usually when you hear about somebody, they're really into music, or they're really into movies, or they're really into gaming, one specific thing. I've always had this drive to want to do all of it. And I never understood how any of that would work together. But then me and Mom would have conversations where she would talk about having a brick and mortar place where she can just love on people and serve people and give them food and give them the love they need that they don't have. And I'm like, that sounds cool too. Or a place to reach out to kids and teenagers, and a safe place for them to be able to hang out. And kind of get back to that nostalgic feel of being able to go to an arcade or a restaurant and just, you're going to the Shake Shack with your friends and you're having a shake and a burger, but providing that safe place where people, everybody of all ages, feels safe to go.
Yep.
And that sounded really cool to me too. And I was like, oh, I want to be a part of that. And then she starts her 714 stuff, and that's really cool. And I want to be a part of that. But so I've always had this desire personally to be a part of all these different visions. And I'm like, God, they've got to all work together somehow, because I want to do all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And I want to be a master of all of it. And I want to do it all really well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we start talking, and you dig what we're doing, and you're like, yo, like, how can I help you guys, basically? And then we all were talking about how God's like been bringing us he brought us all to the North Shore at the same time.
Yeah.
And
that's
almost simultaneously.
Yeah. And he's bringing us all to the North Shore. He's aligning our visions. And then once we finally found each other,
right.
And he definitely was the key to bringing us all together.
You can't
because
for
you
sure.
can't make it up. Mom, tell the people how you got in touch with Isaac.
Well, it was just, the whole thing was crazy because we were came here just about simultaneously. We're both in the area, and then we're both at a prayer meeting. I hadn't really been there before, or I had been there like one other time. And I was just going to check it out because I was kind of new in town finally trying to settle in. And in that moment, it was so cool because as we're praying over other people, here God gives me something for you. And I'm like, this guy's going to think I'm nuts, because I was already connecting and thinking, this guy's my son in the faith already. And I'm like, he's going to think I'm a whack job, but the Lord said, speak. And so I just prayed over you. I don't even remember everything I said, but I remember knowing that it hit, that I could feel the connection. There was just that connection. I don't even know how to explain it. Yeah. It was that immediate connection. I'm like, well, this is just wild. This is just wild. And I think I had already met Natasha.
Yeah, you did.
And I felt a similar connection, different connection, but similar, like, this is going to go somewhere. But when we met, it that didn't flesh out, so to speak. And so I'm like, okay, this is weird that I meet you and all these kind of things. And then the theater and just different, I'm like, we have these places in the journey that we met. Yep. But there was a connection, but it was like, this isn't it. Yeah. And the Lord was showing, I think, both of us that this wasn't it. Yep. So it was really a cool thing. And I'm sitting there in the chair minding my own business early in the morning. And I feel the Lord say, reach out to Isaac. And I'm like, okay. No, it's not an audible voice. It's an impression. It's a Isaac, contact him. It's this weight comes on, and I don't know how to explain it other than it doesn't go away. Yeah. So after you fight something for a little bit, like he's gonna, like I said, why would I? Anyway, so I contacted you, and it wasn't, I don't know how long, and you shot me a message back in our communications, and I'm like, yeah, sooner than later, and it was that same week. Yeah. And we sat down.
Like 3 days later. Yep.
It's just amazing. Yep. And the funny thing is this is the funny part of the story. The funny part of the story is I'm sitting there that morning thinking, okay, I told this guy I got to meet with him. I don't even know why I'm meeting with you. No. Had no clue. Yeah. Other than I knew in the spirit that there was some kind of connection. Yeah. And so I said, Lord, you got to give me something tangible to give this guy. I don't want to go into this meeting like, okay, hi, nice to meet you. Like, yeah, let's have dinner together. See you later. So the Lord gave me a scripture.
Yeah.
And I actually have it marked in my Bible because it was that significant that he gave it to me. And it was about, I believe, a generational passing that legacy down. And so anyways, and then I said, other than that, Isaac, I don't know why we're here, but you said something. And then I said, well, let me ask you a question before we get into whatever we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
And I said, my son and I have this thought, this idea. And I started telling what Tim was just talking about. And then you were just quiet, and you and Natasha were doing this, like looking back and forth, like, and I'd see the smile kick up, and so I'm like, okay, something's going on here. Either I'm just really sounding whack or goofy or whatever. Yeah. And then I got quiet, and I finished, and he said, well, let me tell you, that's why you're here. And I was like, oh. So I took a deep breath, and then we just started flowing.
Yeah.
It just, and then I got to meet your son, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful connection. And we met here on a local restaurant on the North Shore, and it was just it was like meeting family. Yeah. Even though it felt like I knew you forever. Yep. But we just were really getting to know each other at the same time. And I think that is the beauty of that God Connect. It's and as you said, it's something you can't plan. Mm-hmm. It is only something God can do in the Spirit, and only He can bring us here at the same time. Mm-hmm. And brought us both through hell to get here. Yeah. Literally. Yep. And I'm not just saying that to throw a word out there. Really, literally brought Isaac out of the pit, bringing me through some of the worst difficult struggles of my life. Right. Yet through it all, there's such a peace in my heart, my life, that there's a weight with that, everything that's going on, and that hasn't changed. Mm-hmm. But there's this assurance that God is about to do, and He is beginning to do something that has never happened before on the North Shore. Yep. And I am so excited that I'm here with, my two sons, one biological and the other is now my adopted. So it's there, and I'm so excited to see what God is going to do with these guys and me and our families, because it isn't just about us three. There is so much that Natasha does behind the scenes. And even Jazz, she's getting involved in and doing things. And we do have a really exciting, I don't know if I can give the sneak perspective that we're going to be coming from later on, but not just the Adam perspective, not just alt perspective, but we got something concerning the ladies coming up too. So we're really excited about that, because we get to bring in the family unit again. Yeah, absolutely. The daughters, because they both are my daughters, and I have gotten so close with Jazz over the last couple of years, and I already feel very close to Natasha. And I love the fact that even in the most difficult times of our lives, God says, here, honey, this will bring you joy. And this is what I've called you to do. And then at that same time, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to shut up for a minute. And then my father in the faith, who looks like he could be your father, because he is Hispanic as well. But he is come alongside of me, my spiritual father, that I met in Michigan. He texts me and says, Christy, this is for you. And he said, you're about to be a mother of many. It's going to come to pass. He's about to open the doors. And I'm like, the timing, it's just over and over and over the confirmations that we are on the right path, and it's moving fast. But I think it's because it is such a time as this. Right. And there is no more time to waste. And there's too many out there that need community, that need family, that need someone to just love them, and love them like Jesus. Yeah. So, absolutely. All right. I'll take a breath, because Tim says I don't breathe when I talk.
She doesn't.
We could tell. I mean, if I may, I mean, just that alone. And then on top of that, in the past couple of weeks, we've also introduced our tech wizard Star.
Yeah, I wasn't going to do that. I was going to let you do it.
And he's coming in, and he's just masterful.
Oh my goodness.
I've gotten to build, something amazing with him before, and we have such a synergy. And then when we look at the totality of what's going on, again, I love business. I love how teams are built. I love all of that. And when I see this, it literally is this perfect harmony. And going back to what you had said about our meeting, you were explaining everything. I knew 4 months before that we
Wow.
were already going to be there, but
It's crazy.
I had this block, and God said, "Wait, bro, wait. Like I'm going to give you the right timing." And the funny part is it was in the midst of us traveling. We were only here for a day and a half. We were in November because we close and we take our vacation for the year and
Crazy.
everything. And we were only here for a day and a half, and we met during that time. And just everything that continues to transpire at the heart of it all, it gives God glory, and it highlights how amazing he is and how much of an architect he is. Just an absolute architect, because he's taking so many different backgrounds and he's bringing them together into this synergistic body that works and flows together to support his mission.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I'm really excited about.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. And I wanted to say this concerning the faith end of it. Let's just go there just for a moment, because it does take an architect to bring people that think so much alike.
Right.
And even concerning so many different areas. I have worked with a lot of people in my lifetime, but to have that gel faith-wise, to have the same, I don't even know how to put words to it, but it's just like, I don't question. I just trust God, because I know that if something is going to be off or different, that we are so gelled that we can communicate without dysfunction.
Right.
And that's a healthy family.
Right.
I don't have to worry about offense. I don't have to worry about hurting feelings, because when I come to you as sons, and when we talk, and when you come to me as sons and say, "Ma, you gotta come along with it," and I have been being trained, because I've been coming along with a lot. This old dog has been. I sent Tim a meme the other day. Did you see the meme? Did you remember seeing the meme that I sent?
I don't know.
It was an old dog hitting the ball back to its owner. And I said, yeah, this old dog is having to learn some new tricks. And that's how I feel. It's like, but it's such a joy, even though it's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's a challenge to think outside tradition. It's a challenge to think outside the box. And how I've always done things, I'm learning new systems. I'm learning new ways to hear and listen and respond, instead of just shutting things down because this is what I was trained to do or told to do. So I am super excited that I feel this is such a safe space that we will not, it might be a little bit like, the first time, but I think once we bound to hit some challenges, maybe, I don't know. But when we do, I don't have any fear of a division, because I know your heart is Jesus, and I know his heart is Jesus. And that is literally, I believe, the focus and the core of our lives. That's the center of our lives.
Absolutely.
And when we bring it all back to him, no matter what we differ on, that's where that synergy, that's where that gelling comes together. And I think that's why I believe this will become that safe space for so many people, all age groups and ethnicities and all those different things that we each differ in. I don't think that's ever going to be an issue, because I believe that's the very purpose where God's putting us here on the North Shore.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think both you guys are hitting the nail on the head, as far as I think we've all been given a mission with one thing at its core, and that's bring people back to centering their faith on Jesus. And through that, you're going to see the change take place. As soon as you change people's hearts, you change their outlook on life. And if you're Christ-centered in your outlook on life, that's the thing that solves racism. That's the thing that solves indifference. That's the thing that solves difference in political views and all this thing. And I think that is probably our core mission, is just turn hearts back to centering their faith on Jesus, because we've lost the way as a culture at large of people all have their own ideas of who Jesus is to them. And none of them are worshiping the real Jesus.
Right.
And I think that's all three of our hearts, and all 5, 6, including, is that right? I don't know, whatever.
I think there's 6 of us.
Yeah, 6 total. that's all 6 of our hearts on the team as it stands, is we all just want to bring the culture at large back to centering their faith on Jesus, the real Jesus, the biblical Jesus.
Yep.
And that's what Alt's mission has been from the beginning, which is probably why it just fits so well as a puzzle piece into the big picture. Because Alt's mission from the beginning has been to speak to culture through Christ's eyes.
Yep.
And so I think that's really it, is that's the core center mission, and everything else is going to branch off of that and do its part in doing that core mission.
I was just thinking, Tim, back when we had to look for a new name because we got such a delayed start in doing what God was calling us to do.
Yeah.
Did you foresee what's happening now? You might have, with that name being so pointed and just, it's a perfect, I believe the more we get into this, the further we're getting into it and spreading into the other podcasts.
Yeah.
I just think it's so fitting, the alt perspective.
Right.
Because that's the safety,
right,
that you can come and have a difference of opinion
mm-hmm.
and not think just like me or just like Tim or Isaac and still be loved by us
right.
Yeah.
and Jesus. And I think you're talking about doctrine, Tim, that Jesus, getting back to Jesus. And I think Jesus is our doctrine.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It can be that simple.
Right.
If we're going to reach the world, I think we have to bring it back to that simplicity of Jesus being. And I remember the first time I one of the things you were talking about, I think I asked you that question in one of our meetings concerning when we were dealing with another ministry. And I asked you, what is your beliefs here? And you told me just what you told me. I thought, and I had to think about it because I'm so used to explaining all these different things that I believe.
It's very, very simple.
Very simple.
When I think about the gospel, and this is something that I've taught over and over again, the gospel is super simple, and people make it so complex. They convolute it. The gospel is this: Jesus Christ was promised. He was born. He lived. He died and rose again for our sins. Anything outside of that is just minutia. It's just noise. So like when we look at the gospel is a living, breathing Christ. That is Christ.
I love it.
Right. And we can get religious and we can put all of these boundaries and we can put all of these things. But one of the things that you noticed about Christ is everything he did was with intention. So in order for us to have and welcome alt perspectives, and different perspectives from male, female. We have those come in, right? The thing that they have to know is our intention behind what we're doing. Our intention is to listen, to love, and then allow Christ to educate. I can't educate.
I just got the chills.
Like we can't sit here and reach into somebody's heart and make it flesh again.
That's right.
We can't do that. Christ has to do that. But because we are vessels that he works through, you will see that our mission is with intention. It is to hear you, to love you, to make a place. And this goes back to something that we've talked about. When I was 9 years old, I started having visions of sanctuaries and he told me that I would build sanctuaries, these learning places for people to come and feel safe. And that doesn't mean, and I got to make sure that you understand this, that doesn't mean that you won't be challenged.
That's right.
This is a safe place to be challenged, your point of view. And guess what? If I'm challenging you, you have every right to challenge me.
Yeah. Because
that's where we will grow. One of the things that I learned that's funny about competition, the word competition or competitor, is its direct translation is two competing, like two supreme athletes going against each other, not to win, but to make each other better. Right? So if you have a competing thought, I want you to bring it. And then what we don't do is speculate. We go to the word, we go to the gospel. If that doesn't clear it up, guess what? We have the Holy Spirit to guide us, right? And so from a principle standpoint, we lead with intention so that if I give correction or I say, hey, We might want to think about that. That's not because I want to demean or demoralize you. It is because I want to prop up your way of thinking about it.
That's
There
really
are
good.
different perspectives, and it is important. I don't have to, and this is important. We don't have to believe the perspectives or even agree with the perspectives, but to seek first to understand, then
That's good.
to be understood.
Wow.
That is the key to communication
is so
that we
good.
miss every single day.
Yeah,
here
that's
in
so good. I think that's half the issue that we're dealing with today.
the-
Culture
Absolutely.
Yeah.
is no
Absolutely.
one listens to understand.
Right.
Yeah.
They just we want to be understood, but we don't give that grace to listen to understand that other person.
Right.
In general, it's why we have so much division and chaos in our culture. So to be the facilitator, that's what we're trying to do, is be
Absolutely.
a facilitator to welcome back that understanding and learning about you and how you feel, how you see things. And at the end of the story, Tim always says, at the end of the story, you know what it comes back to? Right here.
Mhm.
It comes back to this.
Yep.
We always bring it back to the word.
The word.
Mhm.
And if it doesn't line up, then whoever it is,
Yeah.
and maybe it's both of us that are wrong,
Mhm.
then we correct it.
That's the craziest part, is when people are going at each other's throats, and then you take it back to the word, and both of them have a skewed vision of what it says.
Yeah, absolutely.
And-
Absolutely.
Because one either read out of context and just derived their own meaning from it, or they both did that in different ways.
Right.
And then you take it back to the word and you read in context with them both, if you even can get the opportunity, and it ends up that, oh, they're both wrong.
Right.
And I think we just get so caught up in our own ways of thinking, and or even understanding, Mom, like with what you said about we want to understand so much, and it's like, I think that gets taken too far sometimes, to where we think we understand something,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and then it turns out we don't understand it in the slightest. Example with the amount of over or manufactured empathy that you see from people towards other people groups.
Mhm.
And it's like, you take what that person is standing on the corner with a picket sign saying, and then you take it to the people group that it's about, and they're like, we don't care,
Yeah.
whatever.
Absolutely.
Like, we don't
Absolutely.
perceive it as this at all.
Yeah.
And it's like, so there's almost this manufactured projecting of feelings onto other people groups, and this artificial defense of them, and they're not asking you to defend them at all.
Yeah.
And so that's just an example of what I mean by that, where I think we want to be empathetic and sympathetic towards people,
Yep.
but we even take that too far sometimes, to where
Right.
we just don't even understand what we're saying.
Got to
anymore.
keep it healthy.
Yeah.
There's a healthy
You know, Natasha says something, and we talk about it all the time, and I think this fits in context, is that people now seek so much information, and there's so much information for their little monkey brains to like comprehend, right? That we become educated beyond our intelligence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're educated beyond our intelligence, and then we overcomplicate compassion. We don't take a second to sit back and say, okay, what do those people, how are they feeling? How are they believing? Like, what are their belief systems? And then we just outrage and this is something we're actually going to talk about later on in the Adam perspective, is like, hey, acting in emotions actually causes more harm than you
Yes.
understand. And that's why for us is, hey, I don't respond right away. I sit
Yeah.
back, and it's not because I'm not going to take a position. Again, this is something that I've been saying with all of the stuff going on in Minneapolis and kind of in the
Mhm.
world lately, is that it's not that I don't have a position or an opinion, right?
Mhm.
Right.
It's just that my position and my opinion doesn't matter until God tells me it does.
Yeah.
Right? Until like, hey, I need to take action on this because Christ told me that, right? So that's why we're talking about, when further down the line, having learning centers and these physical places where we get to teach people. It's not teaching them what to think, but how to critically think.
Yeah.
Right? And how to
Exactly.
critically process emotions, feelings, and understandings. And then also to couple that with the Holy Spirit and say, there's also going to be things that I won't understand. and I don't need to.
Yeah.
Because God's
okay.
intention is that his intention is to love us.
Yeah.
All things work to the good of those who love him.
Mhm.
And if we love him, everything works to his glory, to prop him up as the king.
And that's trust.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
trusting. Some things we need to trust, but we want to figure it out so bad
So bad.
that it works us into this anxiety and
answers.
fear. I need answers now. I got to know this. I got to and some things you need to put them in the hands of the Lord or at the foot of the cross and just release that to God and say, you know what? I need to put my trust in you and if you never do, I'm okay. If you never do. And there are things in my life I've moved on from, and I still look back, I'm like, I still don't have the answer to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trusting that in God's time. Or when I get there, maybe, and it probably won't even matter when I get there, to be honest with you. I think we're going to just be, but I really believe that this in this hour, this is so important what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So important. And I believe that's why God is saying now.
Mm-hmm.
Now. And this is the moment, this is the now. And are we about ready to vision cast just a little bit?
So I was gonna let you finish and then kind of pitch
Perfect.
the
See, we're
question to
feeling the
both of
same
you.
thing.
Like
That's that thing.
we've been talking about what God's doing, how he's been moving in our lives, but what is he doing? Like let's beg that question. Like, what do you guys want to share? What do you guys feel we should hold back right now? And do we want to just be an open book as far as what's working in the background and what our intention is for Project 714, for the new podcast, for the Adam perspective, like the brick and mortars? Like, what do we want to touch on first and explain how our vision for it, not our vision, but the Holy Spirit's vision for it?
Isaac, I think when we were having our meeting, I think it might have been the last one I was at physically over at the restaurant. You explained it so well, the whole system and how it flowed. And it was a beautiful picture and it just made sense to me. Is there any way you could go into that?
Absolutely.
I think it's gorgeous.
And that for me is the thing that I'm excited about, because I am not a detail guy. I am a guy that looks at things 30,000 feet. I look at the end product and I say, okay, I do. You're going to hear principles from a book that I've taken very, that is not the Bible, but it has biblical principles. It's called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And one of the things that you start with is you begin with the end in mind. And beginning with the end in mind, the reason I smiled at you across the table when we met was because I had already seen it, and not just seen it, but I knew it was living inside of me from the time I was 9 years old.
Wow.
And it only continued to grow. So that was for me a powerful moment. So to give this grand view of what this is, we have our company that holds everything is Aquatos. We have taken two words and we have brought them together. Aqua meaning water and veritas meaning truth. And we merge those together, Aquatos, because where we drink from and where we will encourage the people, the well that they will drink from is the true living water. And for us, that was something that came at a spare of a moment. So that is going to be the thing that allows us to operate many different businesses and ministries. And when I say businesses, I say that because we're going to be radically transparent about what we're doing. There are going to be things where we're making money and we're not at the mercy of our donors. Right?
Yeah.
A lot of times you step into these spaces and into this faith space, especially, the thing that they operate on is miracles and faith. And then you see that you reach out, they start to veer and they reach out and somebody drops $1 million a year in their hand, but also cuffs them at the same time. You can't talk about this and you can't talk about this and you can't talk about this. The goal is for us to build something that is self-sustaining. And if God, what God tells us to speak on and talk about, that's what we will do. So Aquatos is the holding company that will hold the other branches, right? So the one that we're focusing right now on is the perspective production. And that is bringing to life Tim's vision, which is not only podcasting, producing movies, music, maybe even books, like things like that, where we get to be not only creative, but strategic in telling the story of Jesus Christ, not only as it was in the Bible, but as we see him as a living, breathing God today.
Yeah.
Right? As somebody, we want to, you say it so beautifully, we want to usher in heaven on this side of eternity.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that is the goal with what we're doing. So the production side, we're focusing heavily on as a team. And then in the background of all of that, the brick and mortar stuff, bringing in, and this is for everybody that doesn't know, because we haven't really said anything, but we will be moving Zoe's, our restaurant. And we will also be doing a dual concept, which will be Sunrise Burrito Company. And we're going to do that because we want to increase the footprint that we have in order for people to come and have that safe place and have that
So
place where
good.
we can where we can eat and converse. One of the things that was important for me growing up is that I felt at home around the dinner table,
Oh, I love it.
because my grandma made it a point for us to get together. We had all of the conversations at the dinner table, and that's why food is so important to me, bringing people around good food, having good conversation, and then especially adding God to all of that, adding the word of Christ to all of that.
Jesus.
So we have the brick and mortars that right now are operating as something that will, we're hoping that helps fund what we're doing. And then we have the production company, right?
Yep.
Which is really important. And then we do actually, and we are working on that donation-based arm, that more 501(c) focused arm, which is Project 714. And what that will be is that is our public outreach. Hey, you want to come see us? You want to come see us live? We're going to meet in the park. Let's all get together. And that's going to be, we're going to start holding those things, Silver Bay, Beaver Bay, and then eventually traveling.
Yeah.
And then coupling this Project 714, which is this public outreach, with, hey, also let's do a live podcast where we're taking, eventually building a day where we get together and we can bring leaders and talk and converse and people can see it live, and we get to actually rub elbows with everybody, not just through a camera, but physically, and that's super exciting and important. When I heard all of your vision, and then I what God was showing me was he was showing me that we had all of these unique perspectives, visions, understandings, but for you guys didn't quite understand how they came together.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then in my mind, I didn't even have to think about it. I knew instantaneously because of what God brought me through, because of how he's raised me up, how he's taught me, how he's, and so we got to come together and become this body. We became the ecclesia. We became the church.
Yeah.
And then
Beautiful.
he gave us this vision, and this vision was powerful. Okay. So we call the churches the hands and feet of God. Right? The hands and feet, they're doing the work, they're doing the thing. But oftentimes, and this is frustrating, and we have the same sentiment, the hand is telling the foot how to be a foot. And when I say that, I mean, we have all of these different denominations hating on each other, and we're not looking at them as, hey guys, guess what? Christ isn't coming back for churches, denominations, or brides. He's coming back for one church, one bride. And when he comes back for that, I would love to see a unification. So as we talked about what the mission and the vision of Aquitas as a whole is going to look like, it's going to look like this. For us, we will be a triage center for depleted blood cells. They come back to the heart, because for us, our mission is to be the heartbeat of heaven. Be the heartbeat of heaven. When they come to us, we triage, we nourish, we love, we care, we show intentionality, and then we shoot them back out to what they're good, what they're identifying with, which is, hey, you know what? You need more structured religious So maybe you need a Catholic pastor, a Catholic priest to sit under. Maybe you need, hey, you're a little bit more gunslinger. Maybe you're non-denominational, all of those different sects, being mindful of heresy, being
Yes.
mindful of, hey,
Exactly.
that's way off.
Yeah.
And we're not supporting that. You can come to the table, but just know you're going to be challenged.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we expect you to challenge us too, again,
Yeah.
right? But pumping those people out, listen, we're not trying to build a church. We're being the church.
Oh, there it is.
and
there
that's
it is.
and that's what this is
Mhm.
all. That's what all of this is that we want to go out and make disciples.
Yep.
Right.
Yes.
We want people to have the same sentiment when they encounter these crazy things in the world, when the enemy is tearing this world apart. They see past surface level.
Mhm.
They
It's
say,
right.
oh, hey, I was told of a time like this.
Mm.
I know this, and I know that God is a part of all of this. Now, how do I nurture and care and love, not an overeducated, right? Not a fake kind of like, oh, this looks like love, right?
Mhm.
Well, right? Because sometimes love is not accepting of your actions,
Mhm.
right?
Come on.
Jesus loves us, but it breaks his heart
That's
when
right.
we're doing things that we're not supposed to do.
Yep.
And
Yes.
sometimes, a lot of times, it's because of spiritual ignorance. And that
Mhm.
spiritual ignorance comes from, not to try and get preachy, I'll bring this back, but
Preach, brother.
that spiritual ignorance comes from, and I've seen it a lot. We talk about church hurt. We talk about, hey, if that's what God is, I don't want
Oh,
anything to
yeah.
do with that.
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah.
want anything to do with that. I don't. You say you're loving, you're saying you're loving God, and you're just a critical prick. Like, that's terrible,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
For us, there are times, and have been. This is the thing that's important for me, and I think for all of us, is there was a time where I had a more religious mindset, or I
me
I
too.
failed to be compassionate. I
Mhm.
failed to understand who Jesus was, and I venture to say that there are still scales that he's going to peel for me.
Mm.
But my encouragement to everybody is, hey guys, that is a log in your eye.
Yeah.
Mm.
Start to let Christ identify it and know that that log is probably always going to be there. So be humble, have
Mhm.
humility, right?
Yeah.
You don't know everything. And that's coming from somebody, guys. I'm a know-it-all.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that comes from a place that I don't know. The thing that I told you guys first and foremost when we were formally talking about all of this stuff was, I'm going to learn more from you guys than you'll ever learn from me. Because before I'm a teacher, I'm a student. And I think that having that understand, hey, I want to just know, I want to understand, right? And then also knowing that I won't understand everything and being at peace with it.
Mhm.
So if I could bring all of this back together, our mission is to be the heartbeat of heaven, to be radically transparent, right? To be focused on Christ and Christ alone, right? To go back to the gospel, and I'm going to repeat this. Jesus Christ, the gospel is simple. Jesus Christ he was promised, he was born, he lived, he died, and rose again for our salvation. He was the final bloodshed on the mercy seat. He was that lamb, and that's what we believe. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the belief that we have.
Yeah.
And we will take that to every avenue.
Every
Yep.
avenue,
every
every area. And that's the core. That's the root. And here's the thing. Again, alt perspective.
Mhm.
It all has to come back to that.
Mhm.
And if it doesn't come back to that, then we got to shift.
Yep.
So
Yep.
this is our core belief,
Mhm.
right? Just exactly what Isaac was saying. This is it. And there's other things we're going to believe
Mhm.
beyond that. There's other things we may disagree on,
Mhm.
but we have decided that this is of utmost importance
Absolutely.
for our culture today and the time we are living. I believe this could be a movement like the way
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
in the Gospels.
I agree.
If we keep it to the way, then we will have a movement that breaks breaks down the walls, breaks down the barriers, and the very brick and mortar that we're talking about. Oh my goodness, we're not going to even be able to contain it within the brick and mortar because of what God will do if we keep it focused on Him. It's just an absolutely beautiful thing, and I'm so thankful that He has paired me with people that can see beyond the walls of tradition, see beyond the walls. And I'm not against church. I go to church. I participate. I serve in church. And I will always encourage that. But church is church. And that is a function unless you become the church. It's only a function. We want to get beyond, just like you said, we want to be the church. We don't want to do church. We don't want to go to church necessarily. It's not about that. It's about being the bride, being the church, being His hands and feet. Because if we don't step up, who will? And I'm sure there's others who think the same thing out there. God very likely could be calling other core groups, other pods like us that are, He's saying, it's time. Step into this moment in history.
Amen.
And in fact, I pray for that all the time.
We welcome it. Absolutely.
We welcome it. And that is what this is about, is welcoming, you said it well, welcoming people to the table.
Right.
Where we can break bread together, talk about it, and see what God has to do. See what He has to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, by all means, we may end up agreeing to disagree. But we're still family, and we still love one. We're not disowning people. We're not letting the enemy take those things and divide, because that is his tactic, to divide and conquer. The scripture says, be careful, because the devil goes around like a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour. And he's looking for the individuals that are left in the back, that are blending into the woodwork, that are not staying up with the pack. They're alone. They're secluded. I've been there, friends. I've done some crazy things in that seclusion. Almost died. Almost killed myself. So I know the weakness of being secluded and separated from a family. And so this is what I believe is part of that vision, is what he's talking about, is being the community, the place, the safe place, the sanctuary, the refuge, the triage. I'm so excited.
Yep. I think that's a really key thing to focus on, is we're not just bringing people in to fill a pew or a seat or count as a head or have a voting body. That's not the plan here. The plan here is to have function. So, hey, you're a part of this. I want to understand how you see. How do you see this? What is God telling you? Because He's telling you something different than He's telling me. And there may be a way that it does gel together. It does come together. Or, hey, maybe you're sent in my path to challenge how I thought about this, how I see this, my paradigm. It's called a paradigm shift. It's where you have one vantage point and you see one way, and then it shifts to another way based on different information and processing that information. Right?
So good.
That's what we want to be able to do, but always challenged by the word, always brought back to the gospel.
Yeah. Well, and I think, to give an example of what you mean by that too, like our second or third meeting, I remember you challenged me because you asked me, what do you see alt productions being? And I never saw it more than podcasting and maybe some music and like some different projects, whatever, like just, we were going to produce whatever we kind of felt as a team we wanted to experiment with. And so that's what I always saw it as, just like strictly like YouTube, internet stuff, nothing too crazy. And then you phrased it differently when we were like, well, would you want it to be a production company where we're not just doing podcasting and music and stuff, but movies, games? Like, you started bringing up specifics, and I was like, I've never thought about that. Like, I never crossed my mind at all. But when you said that to me, it's like a fire lit in me. It was like,
so cool.
It brought me back to my childhood, where I used to sit for hours and watch the special features on DVDs and Blu-rays. like that's all I did. I spent like half a day just watching special features on different Blu-rays and DVDs and figuring out how movies were made. And it relit this fire in me and brought me back to my childhood where like, oh, I do have a passion for filmmaking.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
the fact that you were able to reignite that passion in me that I haven't thought about in years. Like it's been like 10 years since I even thought about how movies were made. But it used to be something that that's all I thought about.
Yeah.
And so being able to shift that vision of what alt productions could be and not shift it, but expand it, expand it to fit in all of my passions, all of my childhood passions, everything God has given me a desire to do in my life. That expanded the vision so wide that it made room for everything that I love to do, music, movies, games, everything. And to ignite every single passion in me at once like that, I've never felt that feeling.
Yeah.
And so I got to thank you for that. That was almost the first example that you ever gave of that being the beating heart, right? Of Tim, this is what you love. This is what your passion is. This is what you're good at. So we're going to get your blood pumping again and we're going to send you out and do that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And so seeing, I say all this to say that Isaac's not blowing smoke. He does this and he does it well, where he just ignites something in people.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, I got to thank you for that. And I wanted to bring that up as an example. Like I've seen it happen, so I know it can happen for everybody in the body of
absolutely.
Christ.
So, Tim, from a mother's perspective,
Gross.
I'm sorry. I have to do this because I am. So mom is stepping in.
The Mary perspective.
So from a mom's perspective, he loved, right, movies. Like he would take his grandma on dates.
I would, yeah.
Because he couldn't drive yet. So
Basically, hey, you want to come to a movie and pay for it and
Drive me in.
get me some popcorn?
This
and-
was his life, right? He
Yeah,
loved
absolutely.
movies. He was very artsy. He loved to sketch and draw. He was all that. But I'm gonna expose just a little something. I hope he's
Don't
okay with
expose
this.
me, Mom. That's
Here it
gross.
goes.
I'm gonna
There it
expose.
goes.
He had a little trauma.
We're getting in the laundry.
All right, he had a little trauma, and it might be sensitive, but I'm gonna trust he's gonna forgive me for this. But
Forgive him.
Tim's dreamer was suppressed.
Okay. Yeah.
Not by me. I will not take credit for that because I am a big dreamer, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he had a very black and white father
Yeah.
when it comes to this is what you do. That's never going to work out. Just get your head in the game and
Right.
get
Go
to
in
the
her
grind.
go in her paycheck.
Yeah. You know, and so I mean, but I remember when Tim said, he said, I want to work at McDonald's. And I don't know how old he was. And his dad says, no, you want to own the McDonald's.
Yeah.
So that was the only time I ever saw Dad think big.
Dad had an entrepreneurial like mindset of like his aspirations for me were to be successful monetarily.
Yeah.
And so if there was never a thing where if he couldn't see that the dream would make me money, then and not money and time, because we know that like
It was
Hollywood is a multi-$100 billion industry, and so it's not that it wouldn't make me money over time, but the grind to get there was too much for him to understand.
Right.
So it was I don't think his heart was in the wrong place. Like he wanted me to be successful, but he wanted me to be immediately successful.
And that's interesting because that is actually within the framework of how he understood the world. That was the perspective of the world that he lived in.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know, the things that were important then was pension, gold watch, you know, plaque on the wall. Like those things were important. But as the world had this exponential growth in not only filmmaking, video, like we saw this massive exponential growth, you know, the potentials grew too.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I want to continue and I will continue to encourage people on is this, is if God gave you a dream so big and so wild, he gave it to you for a reason.
Yeah.
It may not wind up. And for musical reference, we're gonna quote Lil Wayne here. I'm gonna shoot for the stars and fall on the moon. Like that's what I think. So hey, I've always been a dreamer, but I was always told, hey, well, you need this, and you need. I had this perfect progression on how life was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right. Like you graduate high school, you go to college, you get married, you have your career, 2.5 kids, you work for 30 years, you get your watch, your pension. And guess what? I was terrible at all of that. Thank you. My grandma's passed, but thank you, Grandma, for doing all of my homework to get me through high school. Because Lord knows I wasn't finna do it. I wasn't about to do it. But when I see these, here's one of the things that drives me wild is when I see these dwarf dreams in people that they never went anywhere. I see this potential in people. And I think that is one of the gifts that God gave me is to see their potential, but not just to see it and identify it, but to stoke it.
And to help them to fly.
And say, go. Like, hey, if you can dream that big, you just need a system to get there.
Yep.
And how do we do it? It's possible. And so one of the things that I used to do, I know we've talked about this, that I had a little itty bitsy problem with alcoholism, and it's went back and forth sometimes. I would go on these binges and then I wouldn't touch it for a while, but one of the things that I used to do was actually go clubbing downtown Minneapolis, get smashed out of my mind at 300 pounds, right? And that took quite a bit. And then I would, wherever my car was, I'd go running to my car. And the reason I would do that is because I spent time looking at skyscrapers. This is really weird. I think I've told a very few people this. I would look at skyscrapers and I would look up and I would say to myself, if a man was able to do this, so can I.
That's good.
But I had this liquid courage, but I wanted to see all of the city. So I'd run, and I did it when I was in Mexico working. I did it through Mexico City, and Mexico City through a very dangerous place. But lo and behold, they were probably a little bit more scared of me than I was of them.
So you see
if I'm
300-pound junk man booking at you, you're running
boogieing, So, but all that to say, if he gave you the dream, don't you think he will give you the tools to support it? And that's why I if my kids come to me, if they say, hey, I want to do this, I say, you can't. You just need a system to get there. This is quote another book. We don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems. Everybody's got Ferrari dreams.
I got that one ingrained in me already.
Well, he said it about 72,000 times.
And I continue to do it because everybody
we'll never forget it.
They have these massive ideas and dreams, but they don't have the system to get there.
Yeah.
And they don't know where to go to get that system. Right. So a dream is pointless without action. Right. And so where I stoke is I say, hey, I can see this in you. I can see that you want this. Have you thought about how to get there? Okay. How big do you want it?
Yeah.
And for you, it was rather easy because you had the desire to tell Jesus' story.
Yeah.
And then you had the curiosity, this childlike wonder. He says, be like the children, everybody. You had this childlike wonder that you could do it in all of these different mediums. And I know that because of a thing called talent stacking. I have the ability to talent stack. I've learned and learned and learned and learned, and then it's cultivated this person that I am. So I thought to myself, if we're coming into this together, I want to stoke the biggest and the greatest dreams. And if we shoot for the stars, we fall on the moon. Like we're going to go as high as we can.
That's
and
so
as high as he wants to take us. And that will be exciting as long as we're within serving and trusting him. Right. You can't believe that you'll go somewhere without really, really trusting that God is going to be the forefront of it all.
So
and that's the thing
important.
I called you, and I've talked to you this week, and I said, guys, if you ever see me get a big head and you see me start to veer off, my thing is smack. Like we're gonna. Hey, does Jazz have a chancla? Because she's Latina. Does she? You know, because I know Natasha. She can throw a chancla, man. She can throw you know, for who don't know, Hispanic women have this talent. It's like an Australian with a boomerang. They have a sandal, and that sucker can curve walls. They will hit you, man. It will knock some sense into you.
So that's the crazy thing about her is she's Latina in blood only. The culture is just not there for her because she wasn't raised in the Latino
wasn't
house.
raised. Now
But-
I guarantee you put a flip flop in her hand.
You saw the
Oh yeah,
fire
if you
today,
put a flip flop in her hand, she'll
know what to do.
There's
Instinctively.
there is just this instinct, you know. You send a lion out into the wild, they're going to know how to kill. They're
Yeah,
going to say
right.
that's tasty.
Yeah.
Like it's just what it is. But to digress, I mean, what he is doing here, I have no doubt that it is called by God, because this kind of synergy doesn't just happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't just happen, and I won't say it's coincidence. It is God himself stepping in and saying, okay, go.
So good.
Just go. And even as scary, and we look at these dreams and we say, all right, these dreams are massive. I have no idea how they're going to happen. I can't even plan for this, whatever. But it's just the trust in Christ. And Lord, if you've called me here, you're going to provide everything that I need.
Yep.
And if it's not right there, if the manna isn't dropping from heaven, guess what? You're going to give me the strength to forge for it.
That's right.
You're going to give me the
That's
knowledge
right.
to go seek, you know,
Right.
and he's going to put more people in. And this isn't, we're not trying to make this proprietary to us. We're encouraging people to join us at the table.
Absolutely.
Join us at the
Come
table.
to the table.
We want
Yes.
to see this ministry expand.
Yep.
So the things that we're talking about from a business and ministerial point of view is three things. Is culturally, do they believe what we believe? They believe that Jesus Christ is the center, front and foremost. They believe the gospel, and they live and operate within it, right? And then, do they have the capacity? You know, is their life chaos right now, and can they navigate serving other people and going out, right? And do they have the competency? Are they at that level, or do they need to be brought to that level of understanding, right? Understanding, and this is the wild part. We're understanding that we don't understand everything,
Yeah.
Yep.
right? We're
Yeah.
understanding that we don't understand everything, and that we're constantly learning. We're like the children, curious and learning, curious and saying, I don't know it, but I'm relying on you, Abba
Yeah.
Father. I'm relying on you, Christ, to take me there. And I will do what you tell me to do, because my life call, and I think you guys have this sentiment, is a bondservant of Christ.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Hands down. That's what we're
That's
doing.
it.
And we're welcoming people to not only the podcast, the physical locations, to not just support us, but be supported.
Yeah.
I think it's really good. You touched on the 501c3. We are not a 501c3 yet.
No,
As of
not
yet.
Not yet.
We're working on that, and that'll come in time.
Right.
Um,
I believe so too.
And I want you to see this clear, because I believe we all have the same vision. That 501c3 is this is our goal, that we don't need people's donations. That we don't need it to stay alive and stay afloat and just survive. That's why we've put the systems in place. That's why Isaac is working. We're working on these systems. But what we want to do is give opportunity for those who feel led to give, that they can give to that ministry portion of what we're doing, because it is going to reach. It's going to extend into the world and reach, and it's going to bring people into the kingdom. That's what this is about. It's not about building a kingdom on this earth. It's about building a heavenly kingdom. It's about growing it with souls. That means our goal, end game here, I believe I can say this, our end game is to see people come to Christ. Come to a relationship with Christ, not into religion.
Amen.
And may not even be into the four walls of a church. We're just being real with you, because we're transparent.
Right.
Some may never feel comfortable there, but that's why we're here, to be a safe place.
Right.
And so we want to promote that. We want to support that. And if people are ready to step into that, we will feed people into the churches that are safe.
Yep.
and refuge that hold those things. So what I'm saying to you is, that's not why we're not doing a 501c3 because we're going to need it. I don't believe we're going to need it.
No,
but I believe it'll be opportunity for people to sow into something and become a part when they don't have other capacity.
Right.
Or, that's the capacity that they have is to give.
Yeah, and it's going to be one of those things too that, like, even though it's going to be our donation arm, even though it's going to be our outreach arm, it's still going to have that standard of, if your dollar comes with a standard or a cuff on it, we're
Keep
turning it away.
Yeah.
Keep it.
Yeah.
Keep it.
And that's the whole goal, is to be able to just share the gospel, turn hearts back towards Christ, center on Christ, and do it without having other little voices in our ears going, you have to say this, you can't say this, you blah blah blah, hey, don't forget your sponsor, don't forget, like, our goal is to, that's why we have the profitable arm of the business, is because that is going to allow us to stay independent. We won't need to answer to anybody but the Holy Spirit itself.
Now, what I want to say about Project 714, because this is not a new ministry, and I think we need to make that clear that Project 714 is one of a many. So we saw it kind of as an umbrella that Isaac was sharing with you, how this thing works with Aquitas and these different arms, extensions.
Yeah.
So just as you brought life to Tim's vision, I want to say this. I presented about 6 years ago now, I made a vision board. All right, it was like full. Yeah. And I had this core. I had this here, and it was the epicenter.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, these are words.
Word.
These are words that I used. And out of it came all these different arms of ministry. And out of those came other little arms. And because I was a big vision, I was like the end game person.
Yeah.
And I showed it to 3 people, and they
Thought she was crazy.
thought I was absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
And they're like, they couldn't even decipher what it was. And I'm like, oh. So what you did for me, and this is how I explained it to my friend Melinda, is, Melinda, he gets my vision board. He just put my vision board and he's given it structure. And she's like, really, really? And so what I want to say to that is Project 714 has been in existence since 2017.
Yeah.
When he gave me the vision. It was a functional 501c3, but we went on pause, and in that pause, there was other things that took place, and so it was turned over to a different type of ministry. And in that pause, the Lord told me that it was going to go into the background for a period of time, and then it would come back forward. I had no clue what he was talking about. And so now I look at this. So we know how to function in this. We're not going to misuse funds. We know how to develop the 501c3. We know it, and we are accountable. So, and the accountability is to the Lord and to each other. Right. We have a strong team of accountability. And I have spiritual mentors in my life. And I'm 54. I've been doing this a long time. Isaac has spiritual mentors in his life. Tim has we have people in our life that help. And here's the thing about why this is working, Isaac, is because we accept that other people are placed in our life to be a supportive role.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we listen to learn.
Yeah.
We listen to learn. I have been learning more from my son in the last 6 months than, I can't even explain how everything is light bulbs on, and my brain is expanding. My heart is, I thought I couldn't love people anymore, but my heart is just like busted open, spilled out. And the Lord's reminding me of another part of that arm. And I'm like, Tim, you might have to, and I'm not even going to go there because we won't put that confusion in the mix. But all I'm saying is God has a plan. He's strategic in what he's doing. And you can rest assured in this, as we're presenting what this vision is, just as firm and solid as that is. Did that sound good, Tim? Was that good?
I'm sure it blew the mics out just fine.
Okay, great. I wanted to have effect. I'm one of those preachers. I wanted to have effect. This is solid. We will not move from our core.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we make that promise to you, that this is our foundation.
Right.
and we will be radically transparent
Right.
in everything we do.
Yep.
And if one of us gets off, we're going to pull that person back in. And that's what accountability is. And if you need to know, I don't think you need to know, I am credentialed and I do have a covering.
That's why we call her the pastoral
That's
presence.
yeah,
pastoral
right. I mean, I don't need that. I don't
Uh-huh.
think necessarily want that to be spoken. But what I will say is I do submit myself to authority. And God has a structure. And we are not against that structure just because sometimes we can be constructively criticize some things that are out of order.
Yeah.
You know?
We see this the thing that's interesting, and I thank you for pointing that out, is it is very much so true that we are going to be radically transparent. If you see something that's off, you're more than welcome to say you see things that don't make sense. Like,
Yep.
we're not going to be able to make sense for everybody, and
No.
that's and really that's not my job, right? But hey, we're going to explain it in the best way possible.
Yeah.
One of the things that my wife and I do and in our businesses is when we have employees, we open up the books for them. We say, hey, this is the status. This is where we are. We're going to be able to talk about, hey, what is this?
Yeah.
You know, where are we going? And is it serving, at the end of the day, is it serving the mission of telling the story of Christ?
Yeah, that's good.
Like that, at the end of the day, that's what we want to do. And so for all of this stuff, and as we continue to grow, you know, we want to come alongside people that have the same vision, have the same mission, but also understanding that in the grand scheme of things, right, a star exploding in space, if you were next to it, would be chaos, right?
Yeah.
But from afar, it has beauty.
Yeah.
And that and if I could explain who God is to me and who he is to, I think, all of us in words, he is this perfect balance of order and chaos.
That's good.
And it's based on where you are in being able to your vantage point and your view. If you're up against this star that explodes, imminent death. You know, get your sunglasses, right?
You're time traveling. You're stuck.
First
in
of
the
all,
black
how'd
hole.
you get out there? We want to know.
Yeah.
Are you friends with Elon? But if you're looking at it from afar, you're like, beautiful. There is, you know, why are all these disasters happening? But yet somehow, some way, you know that there's harmony, you know? So God, I believe in my mind, he is the perfect strike of balance between, you know, that order and chaos, you know, and I think that he gives us innately that because we are made in his image. I think he gives us that inside of us, and it's when is it chaos and when is it order, right? And so it's not to, and this is for our pastor friends, our church forward friends. Hey, we're not telling you that what you're doing is wrong. That's actually not what we're doing. We're saying how do we put more people into your flock so that we can support what you're doing, because guess what? They may be a function that right now they're not living in their function, right? But the only way to do this, and now that Natasha and I have committed to Bay Area Vineyard, that we're going there, and that's our church home. Jerry said something, Pastor Jerry, he said something that was really important to me. He's like, Isaac, you understand function. And like, I want to get to know how you will work within the body and what we're doing, but I want to know you first. I want relationship first. And that was something he just told me, because I am very mission driven. So I do have this, like, I forget that a relationship has to be built, especially when I'm like, let's go. The mode is go, let's go. I don't got time for minutia. You know, I don't care.
Yeah.
But to slow down and to say that, guys, what we're building here is relationship, not only with Jesus Christ, but each other, and coming together under one body.
Right.
And then the function will happen. And I think that's where each and every one of us were and are in this grand scheme of things, is literally he was renewing our mind, our bodies, our souls for a time such as this for function.
I think he also put us each through our own individual trials before bringing us together.
Absolutely.
Because Mom and I were brought to the North Shore through the hardest trials of each of our individual lives.
Hey, guess what? Me too.
Yeah. So,
Me too.
That just blows my mind. It really does. When I was sitting back just the other day, I'm thinking, Lord, how you orchestrated this.
Yeah.
Like it couldn't, there's just no way anybody could do this. It has to be God. It has to be that ordained God. Okay, it's time, and boom, boom, boom. And it was just there. And I'm like, I look at it and I'm so amazed.
That order and chaos. I think to myself, a lot of times I've heard or hear, God's just this kid with a magnifying glass just burning ants, right? Yeah. But when I see him, I can see that sometimes, right? But other times, what I see is this symphony that he's created.
So beautiful.
He is a maestro.
Yeah.
He is creating this and using musical references because music is close to our hearts.
Yeah.
And we love it. It is one note after another that creates a perfect symphony of all of these different blends of talents, visions, understandings, right? Yeah. And then it comes into this beautiful sound that gives praise to the Lord, right? So and that to me is good. What I see everybody that claims Christ, right? There are going to be those exceptions that claim Christ, but their fruit is beautiful, but it's rotted inside, and that is not for me to point it out in them, but for God to reveal it.
Well, instruments need tuning.
Absolutely. Hey,
even I didn't know drums need tuning.
Let's go. Look at that.
Yeah. I didn't even know drums actually get tuned. I had no clue until like 2 years ago, 3. Like,
just
what are you doing?
Tuning
the drums. And I'm like, what? You're tuning the drums? Okay.
Yeah, tighten the skins.
Yeah. It's like, wow. So even instruments need tuning.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think that's a good place to kind of cap it off for this kind of vision casting episode. All three of us could go all day, but we unfortunately
we could sit
don't
here
have
for the
all
next
day,
6 hours and just chat.
Yeah.
Someone bring us some food and we'd be good.
I mean, one day I would love for each of our podcasts to be 6 hours if they need to. But not that day is not today.
We got stuff we got to get to.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of All Perspective, Isaac. I think it was a good opportunity to introduce you on the channel, even on an even deeper level, and more so to give name to all the changes that have been happening in the background. I'm sure you've noticed the name of the channel change. The banner's been updated. The logo's been updated. All this stuff's been happening, and I think it all looks better. So I don't think anybody would complain, but I just think it is a lot of changes just that were happening with no explanation. Yeah. So like, why Productions now? Like, what's that about? It's so I think it was cool to be able to introduce you to the wider audience beyond just Adam.
I'm honored. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm excited to have you as part of the team, as the leader of our team. Really, I mean,
dude, listen. One of the things, just to cap this off, one of the things that keeps being brought to my heart is you are. For you get to be the mother to the motherless.
I love it.
And my heart,
been my dream.
Ever since I was a kid, the vision for my life, if you ask me, was to be an old man that had a bunch of children. I wanted 10 kids. And for me, it is to be the father to the fatherless, right? And whether that's figuratively or spiritually or physically, be able to, and that and so for me, first and foremost, I am a bondservant. Yes, and I am the lowest of the low.
That's all of us.
And that's where I'll lead from.
I think it's funny that you say you're the old man of the group, because it's just objectively not true. because I just have the thing against AI. I yelled at Isaac yesterday on Messenger because he wanted to use AI to make shorts,
was
and I was
like-
like, no. I will handcraft this. I will pour over every frame, and I will take an hour to do it.
33 seconds of content. Love
Took
it,
me
bro.
an hour, solid hour.
love
So-
it, love it, love it. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Mom, for joining us
Yeah.
as always. And
Yeah,
it's been
thanks.
another great episode. We're excited to get this one out to you guys. And
Yeah, super excited.
we'll be back to Stranger Things next week.
Yeah. You know, and I think
Third
As if this
episode in a
wasn't
row.
strange enough.
hopefully maybe I will get Star up here and maybe we
Oh,
can
dude.
introduce the rest of the
Yeah,
team.
I would love
I
to
would
do,
love to do
I
that.
think doing one of these episodes on alt for every team member that we introduce.
it'd be great.
I think
Yeah.
like we'll get them on their own show first, and then once they're on their own show,
Yep.
we'll do an introductory episode following up. I think
Yeah,
that's a good
Star's going to
method.
be here in a couple weeks.
We
So.
might
Cool.
need to get him when he's here because
Might need to grab
Yeah,
one
yeah,
of these
he's
here,
kind of behind the scenes, but
Yeah.
he does some real amazing things.
Yeah,
that-
check
if
out
we-
check out the website. The
Yeah.
website is
wow,
all
wow.
it's not productions, it's PROD
Yeah.
.org.
I'll put the link in
and the link
yeah.
will be in there. You know, look at this guy. He just you said me lead? Excuse me. You know, but yeah, absolutely.
I'm just the dork.
Hey, we're all nerds in our own right.
Yeah.
You're just a little bit more.
All right. Well, Mom, you got to take my wife back home.
I do, and I got to
Oh.
get back to your dad.
Yeah.
so.
So, and then we got to record Adam. So,
Yep.
yeah. Thank you, everybody, for your love and support. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, do all the things, whatever you got to do,
Yes.
whatever platform you're viewing us from. Be sure to do whatever you got to do on that platform to help us grow. Basically, everything you do on the back end is going to help us get our content out there more, because
Yeah.
eventually the algorithm's going to eat it up because it's being received by so many people. So
Yeah, buddy.
that's the goal.
Yeah,
Um,
come grow with us, right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Come to the table. That's
Yeah.
on the banner now too. I don't know if you saw the
I
YouTube
saw that.
banner.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. So
Yeah.
cool. So cool.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, and we love you guys. We're praying for all of you. Have a great day.